What's up? Welcome back. I'm John Stark from MikeTheMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and today we're going to talk about friendship. Would you like to have one? I'm looking for one. I'm looking for a friend. Would you like to be a friend? Want to be my friend? Click subscribe, like, share, follow, all those kind of things, and we can be friends. We talked about it. We talked about friendship. It's also a movie. It stars Paul Rudd, Tim Robinson, Kate Mara. It was released by A24 in May of this year, 2025, the year of our Lord, 2025. And yeah, it's kind of what you thought it would be. It's If you like Tim Robinson's humor, you'll like this more. So depending on how much you like Tim Robinson is how much you like this movie. It sort of is defined by his brand of humor, even though, I mean, he doesn't direct it. He's not the lone screenwriter of the screenplay. So, but it is very much up his alley, his bag, his wheelhouse. And it does have audio description done by Deluxe. William Michael Redman does the narration here. So for us blind people, that's great. We can sit through and watch that. So what is it? Well, we are cringe watching, actually, rather. Sort of Tim Robinson and Kate Mara play a married couple. I don't know why. I spent the whole movie watching Kate Mara and going, why are you still here? It's such a baffling, like, task for her. Poor woman. A poor woman. Anyway, so they get a new neighbor down the street. Paul Rudd is the guy. The wife barely does anything in this movie. I didn't even bother remembering who the actress was because it's dominated by Paul Rudd, because the whole movie is Tim Robinson going down there. He doesn't even want to initially. Paul drops off some pomegranates, I think, and that's what the catalyst is. And Kate Mara's like, oh, I said you go down there, and have a drink or whatever. And so Tim goes down there, hangs with Paul Rudd for a little bit. And then they have this sort of weird night on the town where they crawl through the sewers and break into City Hall and then sit on the roof and smoke cigarettes. Hand-rolled cigarettes, by the way. Like, really specific. Paul Rudd's character is a weatherman. Tim Robinson's character is in app development. It's his job to make things addictive. I have thoughts, by the way. We'll get back around to some of these things. And so after that, basically Tim Robinson's character is smitten with Paul. Like, he thinks they're, best friends, and he doesn't have a friend in his life. When Kate Mara tries to kick him out of the house the first time to go hang out with Paul Rudd, he's like, you don't know what I'm doing tonight. It's like, you just sit in that chair like you do every night, like. So yeah, he doesn't do anything. And so he begrudgingly begins this journey anyway, and then it turns out he likes Paul Rudd's character. And the next time that they try to hang out, Paul's got the rest of his friends with him, and it's sort of this, they've also got this band. He goes and see Paul Rudd's band play together. They're actually not bad. And then he hangs out with his friends in this garage, and he has a lot of really weird behavior. He has one moment where he walks into a glass door, and like like he's a bird. He doesn't know the glass door is closed. And then, like, the whole thing shatters, but it shatters like moments after. It's kind of a cool side gag, but it's also kind of silly. They're all looking at him like, man, are you okay? You really, and then, like, I don't know, 10, 15 seconds later, it's like the thing shatters. It's like, okay, we got that joke out of the way. He does something where, I don't want to spoil all the jokes, but everything he does is just sort of like unhinged, a little bit crazy. Normal people wouldn't do this type behavior, but we haven't really been established to know that that isn't what he doesn't do on a normal basis, and that it's just other people are noticing him sort of in the wild. I'm picking up from his character, Craig, I think it was his name, that basically this is what he does 24/7 with everybody, which really makes me wonder, how does he still have a wife? What does Kid think about him? The moments where they try to have these like endearing moments where he tries to be a father and or wife are not great. He's never good. So it's not like this is a transformative performance. And I think that's kind of why Friendship didn't fully work for me, is because he's kind of a dumbass the whole movie. He's kind of this loser in every single scene. And there aren't any levels. The film opens with them in some sort of like a support group because Kate Mara had cancer and they kicked it. And she's talking about like her journey and all this kind of stuff. And he just keeps mumbling these dumbass things. And that's our first introduction to him. He has not met Paul Rudd's character. So I think the interesting thing would have been instead, and I know that's not like Tim Robinson's brand of humor, but the funnier thing is to show the change, is to show how maybe this quiet sort of, I don't know, loser who's not aggressive, doesn't really shout, whatever, his life just kind of changes. They didn't really do that. They didn't establish him as being not anything else. So you look at Kate Mara and you're like, how did you ever get to this point? And his son and stuff like that. He also, like, they go for jokes that don't work. That's another thing, is they go for jokes that don't work. So he has a son with her that's like a teenager. And there's a point where on the way out the door, like his son kisses Kate Mara on the mouth, like on the way out. And then he makes a comment about it. He's like, oh, you guys kiss on the mouth? I was like, are you here? Like, was it the first time they've ever done that? Like, either that's what they do or that's not what they do. He's way too old. The kid is easily in high school. I mean, I get the gag, but for Tim Robinson to point it out is just, it kills the joke, because he points it out as, in a way, as like, he's just been oblivious his entire life. Like he woke up from a coma and realized this thing was happening. So some of the jokes just don't work. Like, inherently the movie is funny and there are some funny bits in this, but there are also some moments where it's just like, I wish they'd take a step back and go, could we be funnier? Could we do this better? It's kind of like watching Adam Sandler movies, and then you're like, okay, so some of them are funny, some of them you go, that could be better, and some of them you're like, what are you thinking? And this is somewhere between that could be better and what are you thinking in a lot of these scenes where it's like, did we take a second pass on this joke? Who's advising this joke? Who thought this would be funny? Why does this joke, why do you think this joke is funny? And I'm not saying this because I don't like Tim Robinson. I've seen I Think You Should Leave, all of it. I don't know why Netflix doesn't continue to make episodes of that show. I wish they did. And I get his brand of humor, but when you go sort of to feature film length, you have to kind of expand upon it. You can't just do your thing 110% all the time at feature level. That's some comedians have really struggled with that, trying to do that. Even if they're popular, I'll note, and some people will be like, you're popular, and they were never popular. But yeah, Carrot Top could never make it in film. He had a film called Chairman of the Board that because the way he does humor just doesn't really translate onto the screen. So it basically, he follows sort of like the same mold that Pauly Shore was doing in the 90s, and just kind of was this kind of like, you know, slacker that wasn't quite up for the task, you know, like not ready for the job. A little bit like Billy Madison. So it just felt like a rehash of other things, and it didn't really start his career, didn't really do anything for him. And I think there have been other comedians who have had similar opportunities to jumpstart their careers in a film, and then it just doesn't go anywhere. Um, this people did like this. A lot of that has to do with Paul Rudd. I mean, Paul Rudd's great in this, and also Kate Mara for what she's been given, and the fact that she doesn't typically do comedy. I just wanted so much more for her character because she has this doofus to put up with all the time, and she reacts to him like he's a normal human being, and like she can reason with him, and he's very unreasonable most of the time. So it's a dark comedy. I don't know that it's going to work for everybody. Um, and yeah, lots of bad life choices are made throughout this movie. And but I can relate to both sides of it. I think I've been in the Paul Rudd situation, and I also think I've been in the Tim Robinson situation. I have tried to join friends groups and then been on the out, and then like you don't understand the in jokes. It's like somebody tries to make an effort to get you to be like the new member of the group, but you're like, I don't understand this dynamic. This is weird. what what are the jokes? So I kind of felt that, and there's truth in the writing, but unfortunately, yeah, Tim Robinson just I don't think they're 100% sure how to translate his humor consistently. And I think what it needed was a little bit more of an arc with his character. We needed to see that transformative moment for him when he starts becoming friends with Paul Rudd. Like, how does it change him? Because he doesn't feel like he's changed. He just feels like he's sort of been magnified. Like, sort of like if you're a racist asshole, then you're by yourself. You kind of have to keep that to yourself, but you're still sort of like grumbling racist shit. And then, but then you find other people who are like you, and you're like, oh my God, there are other people like me. Now we can talk out loud and run the world. Um, yeah. So it kind of feels like he's just one of those like weird assholes out there that nobody likes, and he thinks he's found his people, and maybe not. You know, I mean, that's kind of the thing, is that he ends up misreading the situation often, but it's hard to sympathize with him because we don't get another side. He's never likable in this, ever. There's nothing that he ever does where I felt bad for him or sorry for him. They always go for the laugh instead of the sort of heartfelt moment. He's never kind. He's never anything. Like, even the moments where they ruin them. Any moment where he tries to have a little bit of kindness in him, or a little bit of gentleness, or a little bit of reality, it immediately is ruined by like a punchline. So I did struggle a little bit with friendship because of that. In general, I think it's funny. I just think some people who are saying this is like the next greatest comedy that's ever been made, I think that just shows how starved we are for comedy, because this is not the best written comedy that's out there. It's uneven, and it needs better character work. So I thought the audio description track was fine. There's actually something I would not have normally, like if I was a company and they were like, we have a comedy for May 24. My first choice wouldn't have been William Michael Redman, but there's something that's very unhinged about Tim Robinson's character that makes it almost like this dark comedy quasi-thriller at times that kind of works for his voice. But yeah, I mean, I primarily enjoy listening to him on action and horror movies. thrillers and stuff like that. So, but this film has such a weird dark tone to it that it's like the exception in the comedy rule. Otherwise, he's not a very, his voice does not naturally lend itself to comedies. It just lends itself to a whole bunch of other genres, in which I think he's probably like the best, if or top two in the field. So, yeah, I did like Friendship, but I didn't love Friendship. So, Friendship, I'm gonna give you. Man, Paul Rudd was great in this. I he's it's like I think I even said Paul Rudd and then Tim Robinson at the beginning when I was listing off the cast, because at the end of the day, I had so many problems with Tim Robinson's character, but Paul Rudd's character was written a lot more evenly and a lot more relatable, and he had levels to him. And while he wasn't a perfect person or flawless by any means, he seemed to be able to feel more like an actual human being throughout the course of the movie. So it ended up that Paul Rudd saved the movie for me in many places. So I really love the subway joke. I thought that was good. So there's a subway joke in here if you get around to it. Friendship. I'm going to go with a 6.5 out of 10. I feel like that's right for me. So yeah, I didn't like this as much as I thought I did, although I am fresh on this. I thankfully, because of Paul Rudd's character and Kate Mara trying to do something, but largely I think this film struggles to find, and it is funny, occasionally Tim Robinson is funny, but the problem is that he has no levels. And it's, even when you watch like Adam Sandler movies, early Adam Sandler movies, they always give him like a moment where he has to pull back and be nice, and he has to sort of realize that what the situation is and why somebody has their feelings hurt. So if you take like like if you take Billy Madison, for example, right? He's a brash asshole for basically the whole movie. He's a giant man-child, and that's his brand of humor. And you're like, well, if you liked Billy Madison, why couldn't you like Friendship? And it's like, okay, so there's the scene where he goes on the school bus, and the one kid had the accident, and then so Billy, to save the kid any shame, decides to put the water on his own pants. It's that kind of understanding that Tim Robinson lacks here. Tim Robinson never really seems to understand that anybody else has any emotions or feelings other than himself. He's completely incapable of reading anybody in this film. And if Billy Madison can have a moment of sort of kindness and sweetness in it, and you look at that character, and you look at Adam Sandler and the way that he played these sort of like angry frat boy comedies, there's no reason that Tim Robinson couldn't have had that in this movie. And I argue that he doesn't. I argue that he abandons his wife in the sewers. He can't figure out how to get through life. Like, it's amazing that he breathes. It's too much, it's too far, and they never gave him that sort of moment of understanding, and that's kind of what drags Friendship for me. So that's it. That's what I mean. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the other side.